Right, back on this Antoria 335. I forget how much I did on the last video, but I've not done any work on it since I did the last video, so it's just natural that I'm following on from here. If I just tell you what I'm doing now, it's going to work, it's going to tie in, it's going to follow on what I said last time. So what I'm doing now is I'm removing my frets. I've decided it's going to have a full refret because the frets, I looked at levelling them and just skimming some off the top, but I measured them, there are only 0.8mm of a fret height left, and I thought if I skim the top off and reshape them or recrown them all, they're going to be down to like just over 0.5mm, and it's not going to be enough. So I've got to order some fret wire today. So in the meantime, what I'm doing is I'm going to remove the frets, and I didn't know they were glued in, but I suspected they might be glued in. So what I decided to do was go with I've got some old soldering irons I've just got in a backup storage here, and what I did was with this one, it's a 40 watt affair, and what I did was I adapted a regular bit and I shaped it, put a groove in it, and what that does is, with that I heat up the frets and it enables me to get the frets out quicker. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to turn the camera around. I've already took most of the frets out. They take about, it don't take long, a few seconds, 20-30 seconds per fret. So let me turn the camera around, show you how I work it, and you'll get a better idea. So there you go. I think I'm close enough in there. You can see where I'm at there. I'm not going to zoom in, just going to work there. And all I do is, I don't want to burn anything, so all I do is I get a little bit of heat on there. I don't want me burning the wood, so I'm going to keep the iron moving. The groove doesn't quite fit these frets because they're a flat top fret that looks on it. I've ordered the same size fret wire, 2.7 wide, but it's going to be a little bit higher, 1.19 high I think they are. It gives me plenty of scope. And all I do is get a bit of heat in there, get my fret puller on there, and there you go. And that's straight out. It's not that hot, really simple. And there you go, we'll just go again. Get some heat in there. I don't want to see any smoke. I don't want to see any burning anywhere. Just get a little, I don't even know how much this is heating the frets. There you go, a bit of smoke there. That's telling me we've got some heat in there. Get a fret puller on there, give it a squeeze. Straight out. So there you go. I'll get back on with this. I'll get them all pulled, and what I'll do is then I'll go along with I've got an X-Acto knife here with an inside concave blade there, and these are what I use for cleaning out any grime in the slots that we've got there. There's not any in there, so it means the frets are going to go in really well when I replace them. I'm going to get the nibs off the edges, because it looks like, it's not bound as such, but it's kind of, it is bound, wooden bound, so I'll be going inside there, look, but you see, there's nothing to clean up because I heated them. What I'll do is, once I've got all the frets out, I'll just go across with a light bit of sandpaper and a radius block, and I'll just take all this glue off. I might even go across with that iron and just take this residue off here. Probably better I sand it off, so I'm going to get on with that. I'm going to take out all the frets. Just show again how we work with that. Good little gadget this. It's not a soldering iron I use. I bought a new solder station by I can't remember the name now. CSI is the company name. Circuit Specialist International, or Circuit Specialist. Got a good soldering station there. Much better than using separate irons. So this is spare. Just sits in a part drawer. And there you go. And again, take my little fret pullers, because you've got a ground edge so you can get right in underneath. Show you how we get in there. And there you go. Get right in underneath, and all we do is we just come along and we'll whiz them out like that. I've not tried to do one without heating it up. Maybe they come out just as easy, I don't know, we don't seem to get underneath. Oh, I don't know. That's come out, you see, but it's chipped. Straight away, first one I didn't heat, it's chipped the board. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use heat. Now then, that little chip there, what it is, I'll get some super glue on that before I move on. So you're learning as I'm learning. There you go. So I'll do a repair on that in a second. There you go, the chips have stayed there. That's nothing to worry about, it's an easy fix that. So there you go. So there's no point with blobbing on and showing you all this. I'm going to get the rest of the frets out. And what I'll do is when I've got my new fret wire, I'll show you how we go about putting the frets back in. So I'll catch you later. Right, I've got a food. Not a great deal for you to see right now, but that's for a reason. This is the continuation of the Antoria refret, the Antoria 1935 model, which is basically a copy of the Gibson 335. Now, since the last video, I've got the guitar, it's all here now, so all jigged up, it's on the jig. Next, I got the neck all level. And what I did was, since I last saw you, is I got a re-radiused the fretboard. Now I'm going to show you that in a second. By re-radius, I mean, we've got a radius block, cut to a radius. This is a 12-inch radius, and this is a 10-inch radius. Now, I measured the radius, now I'm getting round about 12 up the top end, and round about 10 at the bottom end. So I decided to radius it to a 10-inch radius. So what I did is I first went over with 400 grit sandpaper, like so, just to get off all the excess glue between the frets and to get some sort of, get it all nice and straight. Then I went over with, I've just been over with the 10-inch radius. I re-radiused the whole fretboard. I've took hardly anything off the fretboard itself, but what I did, I'm going to put the camera on it now and I'm going to show you where we're at with the fretboard. So I've got it all prepped, like I said. So there you go, there's a fretboard. I'm not going to zoom in. Here, take my word for it. Like I say, I went over with the radius block, a bit all over with the 10. Now we're doing that, and we do long strokes like so, all in one direction. We can go whichever direction we want, but do one full stroke. Don't go backwards and forwards because you can get an uneven board. So anyway, I did all that, and once we do that, we start getting dust in the fret slots here. So what we do is take an X-Acto knife. I bought this one specifically for this job. And it's got an inside blade, but it's about 0.8 wide. And what this is good for is getting right inside them there fret slot and clearing all the slots. And I've already done this. I mean, that one, that's dust just fell in just now. So I've already been through all the frets, got all the dust out. Now you see with this fretboard, it doesn't look like a band fretboard, but it is. The reason it is, it's got a strip of rosewood all down the side. So what we have to do is, when we're refretting this, we have to take into consideration the binding. We can't just get a fret like so and just bang it in and just hammer it in, blah blah blah, because you're going to cut through the binding. So what we do is, we remove the tangs. Now this bit on the bottom is called the tang. You've seen all this before, and it's got spikes on the side, and that helps it grip. But what we do is, we'll remove that tang here with tang nibbler. Now this is a tang nibbler, and what we do is we place a fret inside there and we snip it, and once we've snipped it, we then got file this bit flat. I don't know if I'm too close to the camera here, file that flat. So all we do is just file that flat, take that tang off, and there you see, both sides, we took the tang off. Now, I've already cut this one for the 22nd fret, so all I've got to do now is, this, where these tangs are cut off, will fit inside the binding, like so. So it's not going to cut through the binding, and all I do is, I'm going to show you briefly how we do this. All I do is just tap the fret each side, right, and then bang it in. Don't need to get big hits, and there you go. That's one fret in already. We don't worry about the overhang here. I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to remove this. Am I? No, not really. It's not going to come out. What I'm going to show you this. There you go. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get the fret pullers. I'm going to pull this one back out. I'm going to show you again how I do that. And I'm going to do this with all 24 frets. Let me get my fret pullers. There's various fret pullers all over the option here. Here's a pair. So I'm just going to remove this fret. I'm going to remove it. Here you go. It is. Here you go. That's removed. I'll show you again. There's the fret. All I'm going to do is place it in this side, inside the binding. Now I'm not worried about any scratches or anything on them if I get any. Tap one side in, tap the other side in, and just go across the length. That's a lot more hammering than I need to do. There you go, it's one fret in. Not worried about the overhang, I'll get all that nipped off later. So there you go, that's how you do one fret. Now I'm going to show you a couple of tricks as well I do with the frets. That's in absolutely beautifully. Now, I'm going to come back to me. So regarding fret wire, I normally use Luthitech or Jescar, both good quality. Luthitech being Japanese, Jescar being German, both really good quality. But I thought, because this is my guitar, it didn't cost a lot, I thought I'll go and try some stuff from Papa D's. It's £5.90 delivered for, I think, it's medium jumbo, I think, or is it jumbo low? It's 2.7mm wide by 1.2 or 1.3mm high, and you get 8-inch strips of it. Comes like this, 8-inch strips of it for £5.90 delivered. It's the same as any, same as Jescar or Luthitech regular brand, 12% nickel silver, not expensive. Well, this is expensive, £5.90 delivered. So I thought I'd go and try it. Anyway, I went and got it. Absolutely brilliant. It's no different to Luthitech or Jescar. Maybe it's a little softer, I don't know. But for a refret like this, I'm not really that bothered. Now, I'm going to explain how. See, look, with this, you've got your fretboard is narrow at one end and fat at the other. Ideally, if you get four bits of fret wire from one strip, you're laughing. Now, if you do that and you do it from thin end to fat end, you're not going to do it. When you get to the thick end, you're only going to get 3. So what I do is, and this is a good trick, cut 2 this end off one strip and cut 2 the far end off the other strip, and then you're always coming and you're going to meet in the centre. Doing it that way, you're always going to get 4 frets on one strip. So I've had 8 strips of this. I've still got 2 left, and this bit. So I've got 22 frets plus 2 frets left over in case I fluff one up, and 2 full strips. Now these 2 full strips I can save, and if I do 2 more jobs, I get 6 strips left. That gives me 4 complete refrets for the price of 3. So it's 18 quid. So there you go. So that is a good tip. Now, frets themselves, I've already cut them. I'll show you where they are. I've got them all lined up where they need to go. And what I do is I put them on a table next to the table I'm going to be working on, like so. There you go, in order. So that's going to be, I'll put the 22nd one in, that's the 21st. Sorry, that's the 21st here, right down to the 1st fret. So we're all ready. All I've got to do, I haven't cut tangs off yet, but I'm going to cut the tangs off. So that's where I am with that refret. So I'm going to blob on with it right now. Not take me long, I've done this that many times. You might be asking why I'm not gluing these frets in. Well, there's a reason for that. Here's the old frets, and here's the new one. Now the old frets have got a narrower tang. These have got a bigger tang. Can you see? If you look there, we're all ribbed here, down here, and the tangs and they come out like a barb. These are slightly bigger, so they're not going to need gluing in. They're going to hold themselves in. So I've decided not to glue them in. I'm just going to, like you've just seen how easy that one's gone in. I'm going to blob on now with the rest of them. I've got 20 more to put in, 21 more to put in. So I'm going to blob on with that. It'll take me a short while. Once that's done, I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to show you how I move on to the next bit. So till then, good to each other. I'll see you soon.